Welcome everyone. Today we are going to discuss GS Economy PYQs from Civil Services Main 2022. Idea is again to tell you that Lukmaan IAS is offering Takkar year-long test series. This we want to assure you is a very high quality test series, and the kind of feedback and the model answer you will get through this test series, you can understand through this discussion. So let us start with the questions. Let's say this was a question appeared in Civil Services Main 2022 GS3. What are the major challenges of the public distribution system in India? How it can be made? The question is very clear, right? Major challenges and PDS, how do you know? It's just a system through which you procure the food and provide it to the citizens and the related acts, the National Food Security Act, and it is vital for not only food security but also for nutrition security. Okay, so let us see. First, you can define what is PDS. PDS is an institutional mechanism to procure food and distribute it to entitled citizens through fair price. Very simple definition. PDS not only alleviates poverty but also facilitated attainment of food and nutrition security. Right? Simple definition, introduction. See, there is no fixed introduction, but there should be one characteristic of this introduction. It should be simple and it should be aligned with the question. Do not try to throw some, some very rare fact. No, simplicity comes with lots of reading and practice. What are the major challenges? So, biggest challenge of PDS is their exclusion and inclusion errors. Exclusion errors, that many entitled citizens who were supposed to get that food could not get it. And inclusion errors are mainly leakages, untitled people getting it. Under National Food Security Act being excluded while, instances of high hunger while having high buffer stock. Yes, it's India, India maintains a high buffer stock. There is a long story running, through peace clause, Bali agreement. We cannot go into those waters at present, but you must know that story. And how you will know that story? Let's see, when you read economic surveys, let's say you are investing one day in reading some very good report, fundamentally, or let's say Shanta Kumar committee report recommendation. It might, the committee recommendation came maybe, I think, 2016-17, not a problem. But just invest your time in that quality document. Invest your time in national farmer policy. That is, more ROI, return on investment. Let's say somebody invests a lot of time in newspaper or some article. No, try to do quality work. So high buffer stocks results in increased carrying cost, wastage and deterioration. That's why proactive liquidation policy needed for. Proactive liquidation policy means, let's say buffers are stock. If you do not maintain buffer, what will happen during pandemic? Yeah, right? Or there any emergency? But there is a trade-off. Even though those are the students of operation management, they know there is a trade-off between carrying cost and ordering cost. So same thing is happening here. So if you carry too much, that's a problem because they, there might be instances of hunger, but you are having overflowing buffers. But if you do not maintain buffer, then what will happen during the emergency? So we have to strike a balance. Then you may also write some facts. As per NSSO, leakages in PDS are approximately 45 to 47%, very high leakages. Without plugging these leakages, the right to food, can be traced under, Article 47 is there, fine, that is fine. But right to food is fundamental right under Article 21. As you know, Article 21A is related to education, 21A, right? Similarly, right to food can be traced from the Article 21. It will remain a distant dream. Right to food is a fundamental right, fundamental to a life with dignity. Need is to read Article 21, 39A and Article 47 through food and nutrition. See, what? Okay. Now, if you see this thing has come, this statement has come naturally to my mind, right? That you must read Article 21, 39A No need to see, the professor will understand, examiner will understand. If you've read the story behind it and you know, these thoughts are natural. So do not worry about whether I should explain it. No need. Directly come to the idea. So when you read, let's say when you read the National Constitution Review Commission report, there you will find many times they say that there is a need to read many two, three articles together, because there is always some trade-off between some articles. Okay, let's say some article related to the maintenance of efficiency, but affirmative action is also very, very required. Article 15, under 15, 16, right? So what is the need? It is not that articles are conflicting in constitution. The need is of great interpretation. Fine. Quality fraud and skewed procurement is persistent. You know, procurement quality fraud leading to, see, you can even through biometric and Aadhaar, Jam Trinity, you can prevent quantity fraud. But what about quality fraud? Let's say somebody says, okay, I'm giving this, I got 100 kg bag of rice, but he replaces in some market, just to earn some. So that is very difficult to prevent. While skewed procurement results in procurement of more rice and wheat. Most of the procurement happens from the northwest, and FCI procures mainly from the northwest. And in states like MP and Chhattisgarh, the procurement process has been decentralized is being decentralized to states. So what is happening? Rather than coarse grain, procurement is more, towards rice and wheat. Although rice and wheat is also a staple food for many, but again, coarse grains is also very, very important. Fine. Measures to make PDS effective and transparent. See, the equally important thing is the logical ordering of these points. Do not worry whether, do not worry about whether I have to write 6 points, 7 points in paragraph. No, those are secondary things. Can you write even 3 points, which reflects your deep understanding? That is more important. And it comes with practice. Don't worry, it will come with practice. Okay, measures to make PDS effective and transparent. Recommendation of the Santa Kumar Committee 2014 and the Justice Vadhva. These are the 2 important committees, right? So you can say it should be implemented, and do not worry about the Justice Vadhva Committee came in 2001. No, let's say Government of India, floats and constitutes any other committee. The recommendation are not going to change. It will change, but not largely. So what is required for UPSC aspirant is that writing style, that thought process. That is more important. Let's say when you read law commission reports, so that's give you very refined thought process. Let's say you are reading law commission reports on elections. Okay, the problems, whatever the issues in election, when you will read that, it will take maybe 1 or 2 days, but after reading it, you may have make your notes. You will see there is no need to delve into 2 newspaper articles on, let's say, election reforms. That report itself will, close that story. Fine. So first, the Jam Trinity to plug leakages and reduce exclusion and inclusion error. This is one of the measures. However, now Jam Trinity is a technical measure. But what is equally required is democratic attitude and ethics in PDS, because you saw quantity fraud you can prevent, but what about quality fraud? So that's why ethics in PDS is required. Restructuring of FCI and handing over procurement to experienced state like Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. They have well-developed procurement systems. So it is a move towards a democratic decentralization. And democratic decentralization brings in effective and transparency in public service systems. See, when you move towards democratic decentralization means, it is not only limited to giving more powers to state. No. Even taking it to the local level, giving recognizing the importance of Gram Sabhas. Not only Gram Sabha, that individual, the last person, that is democratic decentralization. Otherwise, if you give more power to state, state will, you understand, the power has to flow at the lower, at the gram level, but keeping in mind also, see, when you study Panchayat, 73rd and 74th Constitution Amendment Act, all those things, there is one problem. Establishment of Gram Sabha, everything is okay, local Panchayat, But when the power is concentrated at the local level, vulnerable section, the rights of vulnerable section, that who will look after it? Because the village politics is also there. So even the second ARC has mentioned what, that you must promote democratic decentralization, 73rd, 74th Constitution Amendment, all those things are fine, but look after the rights of vulnerable section as well, and especially women. And this provision of reservation for in local election for vulnerable women is a very, very positive step for India. Okay. You must write points like this in your mains copy. Fair price shops in many states are being managed by cooperative society and SHG, and mainly in the South India it is happening at a large scale. And forming cooperative society is a fundamental right. Under which article? Can you trace under which article it is a fundamental right? I hope you will try to find it. It is one of the article 19. Okay. Hence, the reach and scope of cooperative society and SHG should be enhanced. Let's say you want to make a PDF system effective. If there is a high involvement of society through SHGs and cooperative society, they themselves will become more efficient. Fine. Bonus above MSP. State sometimes provides bonus above MSP by states to be discouraged, and defer effectuation of a National Food Security Act in a state which has not described benefit. See what happens. Now you are bringing jam trinity, for benefit transfer, cash benefit, cash benefit transfer, for authentication of beneficiaries, everything. So what they are saying, National Food Security Act is a legal provision that okay, we have to provide so and so citizen, which covers almost 70-80% of population of India, at so and so price, rice, wheat, and right. That's 1, 2, 3 price. You only understand that story. So what they are saying, the effectuation of a National Food Security Act in those particular states should be deferred if they have not digitized the beneficiary list. Yes, see, we understand that digitization is not so easy, but again, this is not a forceful measure. This is a measure which will facilitate making PDF more efficient. You must project it like that. You are not forcing, you are facilitating. Fine. Gradual introduction of cash transfer in PDS while maintaining ability. See, this is very, very important. AAA, right? In fact, when you read National Food Security Act, these 3 words are important. See, when you introduce cash transfer, so what the public will do, they will buy at the market price and then subsidy will be transferred in their account. But sometime, let's say that particular food item is not available, then what they will do? How they will get it in for the market? So you have to strike a balance. You have to introduce cash transfer, but as well maintaining the availability, accessibility, and affordability of food grains. And other measures like establishing anti-hoarding cells. Anti-hoarding cells, these black marketers are there. So they try to increase the price of important goods. District Vigilance Committee, end-to-end computerization of food management system. Okay. Negotiated warehouse receipt. Negotiated warehouse receipt, these are nothing but, let's say if farmer got some produce, then they can keep it in a warehouse where the government will give them some receipt, and on that receipt they can take loans, so that they do not have to sell their farm produce at a very, very low cost. So generally what happens when there's a harvest period, farmers try to sell at a very low cost because demand and supply mismatch. So that's why it is very, very important. See, it's a very important. It should not have been written here. It is a very important point. Okay. Adopt a pro-liquidation policy. This is fine. Now, in the end, you can write good and ethical governance. Now you have written there for technical and all. Good and ethical governance must be introduced in the mechanism of PDS because achieving SDG 2 is a moral imperative. No poverty, zero hunger, right? SDG 1 is no poverty, SDG 2 is zero hunger. See, first 3 SDGs are very connected. In fact, when you compare MDG era with the SDG era, what is first 3 SDG? The goal 1 of MDG era. Okay, so just you cannot de-link them. Now we will move to another question. Okay, this again is a very important question. So let me remind you again, this is Civil Services Mains 2022 paper GS3. Okay. Do you think India will meet 50% of its energy needs from renewable energy by 2030? Justify your answer. How will the shift of subsidies from so and so? Now, you know the story. What is the problem? World is facing a threat, climate change threat, and 2 degrees Celsius temperature. Yeah, that's a threshold. That if we breach that 2 degrees Celsius heating of the 2 degrees Celsius mark, that is going to be a problem, and we are trying to control it at 1.5 degrees Celsius rise. Okay, at the from what reference point? The pre-industrial level. Okay, so India made its a comment. See what is the trade-off? Developed countries have already developed because their cumulative carbon emission is very high. Developing countries need to grow, and now when they need to grow, they have to consume energies, right? Then CO2 emission would be. But now the world is facing the threat, climate threat. So they are saying I will not say forcing, but yes, they are encouraging developing countries to cut down their emissions. So now again, this is a kind of, do not think that there is a very high degree of trade-off between development and carbon emission. No, you can take both things forward. You can develop as well as reducing carbon emission. So that is the story. And from Paris Agreement to the story, right? It's a long, not only Paris Agreement, but before that, Brenton Commission, okay, UNFCCC formation. It's a long story. So what happened in the 2000s in COP 26, right? COP 26, India made this commitment. What? That to meet 50% of its energy needs from renewable energy by 2030 and achieve the target of net zero emission by 2070. In fact, India made 5 commitments. And if I'm not mistaken, they are called Panchamrit. Panchamrit, right? Panchamrit. You understand 5 aims. And I mentioned here too, to meet the 50% of energy needs from renewable energy. So, but it's a big task. See what you are saying, 50% of energy need. See, this is energy, not only electricity. This is, you have to understand that. There is difference between energy includes both heat energy as well as electricity. So India is committing to meet 50%, big challenge, and achieve the target of net emission by 2070. 2070, big target. Just see. Okay, first line. What introduction we have written? Access to affordable, reliable system is the sine qua non to achieve the SDG of the. See how it will come to you naturally. If you recall, in 2017, this was a question as well. For I think 2017 GS3 paper, this was a question. So you can take the statements of the PYQs and use it. So that kind of language and thought will come naturally to you. So what you are writing, India can achieve this target with a few concerns, because. So how India can achieve if they are promoting renewables. Renewables mainly solar, your wind, hydro, right? And there are many, green hydrogen, right? So that kind of, let's say, and mainly from if you're observing last 7-8 years, where the maximum production in renewables have come from, mainly from solars, right? India Solar Mission, and India has invested heavily in India Solar Alliance, so heavily that if I'm not mistaken, no country has taken this kind of solar infrastructure development project in the history of human civilization, right? So India announced. So why they can achieve? India announced establishing 500 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity and reducing emission intensity by 45%. And India is making a steady progress towards it. So this is the way you can say. See, we are writing it to, it can achieve. But my understanding is that India will, miss by a big margin, right? How you will achieve 50%? What is the present situation? See, what is the present situation? If you see, while the share of renewables in total generation has increased from 6% In 2015, it was only 6% from renewables, but in 10% from in 2018-19. How India is going to achieve 50% by, let's say, 2030? Yes, but it is not going to be, but it is making steady progress. So you have to write, you can also write negative, but here you are trying to show a positive path. That's why I'm writing that India can achieve. So given that India achieved only 10% till 2019, but now India is striving to invest $250 billion. Can you imagine $250 billion? I give you an example. 1 billion is approximately, I think, 15,000 crore, right? Yes, even less than that, 14,000 crore. Okay. So, India's largest warship. Okay, what's the name? But anyway, its cost was $1.5 billion. Okay, its cost was $1.5 billion. So you can imagine how how big investment it is going to be. USD $250 billion. Okay, in renewable energy system during 2020-30. Try to compare it with the, let's say, the GDP of India. Okay, 3.5, 3.8. But out of that, 250 billion you are trying to, is it going to happen? Chances are very, very less. But again, India is making progress towards that. India is harnessing the solar energy potential. So India stands in tropical country, and its solar energy potential is 748 gigawatt, as estimated by National Institute of Solar Energy. See, you can give references like, let's say you have to tell something, because this is the potential. Now you are giving a specific, if you know exactly this thing, that's fine. Okay. See, naturally, when you will write in examination, such kinds of points will come to your mind only if you have read them 3-4 times, and it is very, very important. Otherwise, generally facts should be avoided in mains examination. Facts should be written when it is very, very important. The idea should be written, and you must substantiate that point with some fact only if it is a very important fact. So according to me, this is an important fact. 748, this is the potential of India, and it has been estimated by National Institute of Solar Energy. What it says, and what is happening? India's National Solar Alliance are aligned with the INDCs. INDCs is what every country determine that so and so contribution we are going to make. That's INDCs and CBRD, CBDR. CBDR is common but differentiated responsibility. This is India's stand. What India says that to prevent the greenhouse gas emissions, it is a collective, common but a differentiated responsibility. See, everyone should do, but differentiated. Why? Because the developed countries have already made a lot of emission. We are starting to make that emission. Fine. Okay. And this, this INDC, I believe India has already achieved. And now India's new target is 45%. Just please check, if I'm not mistaken, this has already achieved to 40% of cumulative electric power installation. I think, I'm not sure, but please check. Okay. Then the Rajiv Singh committee was there. It observed that the wind energy potential is approximately 200 gigawatts. So so now you have idea. Okay, my solar energy potential is 748. Wind stood only 200. But see, earlier what was happening before, if I'm not mistaken, 2016 or 17, installed wind projects in India was more than total solar power we were generating. But in the last 5-6 years, the growth in solar is almost, if I'm not mistaken, 2,000%. But in wind, that much progress is not happening. That is mainly due to two reasons. One, wind turbines need a lot of capex. Okay, then acquiring land and all those things, they are the thing. The same thing happening, for solar as well. Acquisition of land is there a problem as well. But an investment is for wind turbines and again, let's say what happened, connecting it to the grid. In solars, you can have off-grid system as well. Connecting in wind power to grid. In fact, this should be the thing. Solars you generally get in the daytime, and the winds are generally in the night time. So that's why the concept of hybrid solar and wind has come upon. Okay, So what it said, total approximate potential is 200 gigawatt, but only 20% of it is exploited. Now how India can exploit it? See, there is a problem with the feed-in tariff system. What is feed-in tariff system is, okay, when people started investing, companies started investing in the solar and wind power. What were the policy measures? That you will get a price of something, cost plus profit pricing, right? Now let's say there is a company which is on the way of producing solar power. So the company said my cost is C. So the government said, okay, you will get this price, cost plus profit. Okay, at this price you can sell your power, whatever power you produce. But now due to competitive bidding, their profits are decreasing. So that's why there is a issue in feed-in tariff system. Now, the renewable repurchase obligation. What it means is that let's say there is a organized company or industry, they have to produce certain power of through renewable energies only, and if they are not doing that, what is the other option? Let's say there is a company which is working on the, let's say 50-60% of renewable energy. So they can generate those certificate, and this organization which is not utilizing renewable energy can buy those certificates. Okay, that is the essence idea, main core idea of renewable purchase obligation. Then the last is promoting large grid connected wind solar energy projects. So this is important, the connecting with the grid, because to store energy. So if somebody asks what is the problem with the solar energy, in India it is between tropical, that is fine, but to store energy itself is very, very expensive. And now due to now solar energy depends on photovoltaic, all those things, right? It is important dependent. Import, you have to import those products, and the cost is rising. So now India is also facing with the solar production. To promote hydro, what India did is India approved a new hydro policy which recognizes hydropower projects as a renewable energy source. I think it should be large. It should be large. See what happens if the hydro project is less than 25 megawatt. So see, now somebody can say whether the hydro projects are renewable energy source. If you say renewable, then why there is a lot of the Bachao Andolan and so many things. So what was general understanding that if it is a small project, then it might be considered, let's say it will serve the community, local need, it will not spoil the river course, then it can be considered a renewable energy source. But to consider a large hydro project as a part of renewable energy source, that's a big, debatable question. So what this new hydro policy is trying to do to promote hydropower, they're bringing large hydro projects also as a renewable energy source. So when the policy document, see, but again, you have to keep in mind, it is just a policy document. The big picture is this. First is the constitution, then becomes your, acts with the parliament will enact. Then your through acts will flow, your policy, from policy will flow circulars and all those things. So policy is just a policy. It is important, but again, the place of constitution and acts, that is different. Okay. Now, India also aims to become a global hub for green hydrogen. Generally gray hydrogen is used in refineries, and India is a large importer of crude oil as well as large exporter of refined oil products. So how it exports? By refining, Mathura refinery, Vadodara refining, Vadina refining. Okay, so green hydrogen is used there. So if you use green hydrogen, you will replace gray hydrogen, and so that you will cut the emissions. Fine. Shift of subsidies. Now, the second part of the question is shift of subsidies from fossil fuels to renewable will help achieve our objective. How? Now, let's say you are providing solar subsidy. Solar power is dependent on your import, and the import costs are rising. So, subsidies for solar panel will assure steady energy output. Now, the second part, in agriculture. Now, you see the ordering of the points is also very important. Now you are concerned about the farmers. Farmers, they operate on diesel engines, right? So it is mainly Tractors are also on diesel. So what this Kusum Abhiyan, what it is trying to promote your solar pumps. Okay, so it will facilitate what will facilitate de-dieselization of the farm sector. Then renewable subsidy for establishment of wind turbines, because when you establish a wind turbine, there is a lot of capital expenditure is required. Okay, and it has its own gestation period. So that is one thing, and this will help you reduce carbon emission 1 billion. See, that's what India another target, which it gives in 2000 COP26, one reducing carbon emission by 1 billion ton. Can you imagine 1 billion ton? Okay, then central financial assistance to development of solar park. See, what is the problem? Now aggregation is happening in almost all industry. You see, you were Ola, right? Hospital also aggregating. The same thing is also happening for solar. When you establish a small solar power plant, it is unsustainable because you have to acquire land, right? Fixed costs are almost not very different. So that's why aggregation is happening. What they are saying, development of large solar power park. So for that, central financial assistance is required throughout. So in help, some loan subsidy, help in land acquisition, all those things. But not with, see, again, if you have been reading this year's economic survey, you know that India has almost 18% of the world population, but it uses only 6% of the energy. And see, when you consume more energy, you move up the development trajectory. It does not mean that you have to use unsustainable energy. No. But you have to use at a very optimum amount of energy. So India is going to consume more and more energy in the next decade. And when you consume more energy, no doubt renewable share will rise, but consumption of fossil fuel will also remain high. So that is one concern. And given this concern, let's hope that India achieves its target. Next question, please. What are the main bottlenecks in the upstream and the downstream process of marketing of agriculture product? You understand? Okay, let's say agriculture product is there. Let's say potato is there, apples are there. Okay, what is the upstream? Procuring for the farmer, right? Procuring, right? Bringing it to the, then marketing means that processing, and value addition, and then exporting or branding, packaging, all those things. You understand the difference between the branding and upstream and downstream process. Now let's see what is happening in India. You can write any kind of introduction. Let's say we have written inefficient and fragmented supply chain, large number of intermediaries, inadequate marketing infrastructure, and lack of marketing intelligence system have posed challenges to the application of a marketing system in the country. So these are the important challenges. So, and see, if you ask why it is, you have to understand this. The core idea is this: 18% of only 17-18% of the GDP comes from the agriculture, and almost 47-48% population is dependent on that. It is unsustainable. Let's say there is an intermediary. He will control, almost 2-3 villages. So what the farmer can do? They have no other choice but to give it to the intermediaries only. Otherwise, if they are going to take their produce to the market, it is going to cost a lot. So that is why. Here again, aggregation effect is coming into picture. So what are the bottlenecks? In the upstream process, farmers, okay, have limited access to markets. It is true, let's say generally what is the setting? Let's say villages there. So generally at the district level you have a big mandi, and at the block level also you have mandi. How the farmer will, if the farmer is well to do, they will, he or she will have his tractor. Otherwise they have bullock cart, they will put it, they will go there, then they will ask prices. Now that the cell phones are there, that's fine. But otherwise people used to carry their bullock cart mandi, and if they have to wait full day, and if the price is not due, they have to come back. See, that kind of inefficiency was there. Okay. Now what they are saying, compulsory licensing of commission agents under APMC regime have made it restricted and fragmented. See, now you must also know about APMC regime. It is Agriculture Product Marketing Committee. It was started with a good, see, there is a story you must know. It was started with a good intention. See, what is the problem? The problem is again the same, that farmers have to have the value for their produce, and how they can get that value. If you remove the intermediaries, the consumption and the distance between the consumer and the farmer has to be reduced, and in that value chain, farmer must get it due. So APMC was started with a good intention. You know, agriculture is a state subject, marketing and all this is state subject. So the government of India did is that they brought APMC Act, that is Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee Model Act, and they could not force the state. They said all states must align their acts with this act. Okay, not forcefully, but again, it's a suggestion. So some state did, some state did not did, and again, APMC are not very efficient. To say it, not very efficient. There are many concerns. So and I hope you will read about it. What you can do, see, when you invest your time in reading Essential Commodities Act, let's say you are investing 3-4 hours, no problem. It is a very productive work, high ROI work. If you read National Farmer Policy, okay, and let's say there was a report, the Dalwai Panel Commission is fine. You invest your time in Justice Wada Committee report, or it was in 2001, but it's language and the thought process. I'm sure you are going to enjoy reading that report. Second, cartelization prevents efficient price discovery. Yes, if the intermediaries, cartelization, you understand, the intermediaries come together, how the farmers will discover efficient price, and this leads to lower price realization for farmer. There is a need to design transparent and efficient marketing. Okay, so this is good, I think. Okay, now not all states have amended their APMC Act on the line of Model APMC Act. And the provisions for, okay, now understand this point. Setting up of private wholesale markets and terminal market complex. Okay, what happens here is these are mainly to facilitate backward and forward linkages. Backward and forward linkages, you understand, right? Let's say there is a company, it is procuring from somebody, from small, let's say farmers. So it is a backward linkage. Forward linkage, let's say this company is producing something and some marketing company is selling it. So this company might try to link forward. This manufacturing company itself may like to become a marketing company, and this manufacturing company may like to have its own farms, like Adani farms. I am not very clear what is the business model, but again, this kind of thing is there. Now, have not been specified clearly. Okay, so what is the provision for setting up a terminal market complex? That has not been specified clearly because states are not amended their APMC Act. Okay, now this is what the recommendation. Expert level committee came in, I think in 2001. It was a very wonderful committee, right? Expert level committee for the for making agriculture marketing ecosystem efficient. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing, but it was a committee. It made a observation that private markets are not treated at par existing APMCs. See, APMCs. See, the idea of APMC was to make markets competitive, but APMC itself is preventing demand-supply mismatch. So one idea is to introduce more private markets. So when you bring in more competition, automatically the bottlenecks will smoothen. Okay. Now, within Essential Commodity Act, the distinction should be made between the genuine service provider and the black marketer. Okay, ENAM. ENAM is what? National Marketing. What is the purpose? It is trading portal. Let's say physically, if you are not able, physically when you take agriculture produce from one state to another, there might be taxes, many issues. But when you trade through ENAM, you believe that it is a unified pan-India portal. But again, its penetration is limited. You have to understand, how a small and marginal farmer is going to use ENAM, right? So it is a distant term. But anyway, good, a positive move. Now look the bottlenecks in downstream process. Here you are worried about transportation, storage, and processing. Okay, and in India, logistic costs are very high, in the range of 14 to 17%. Economic Survey mentioned this point. Cold chain. See, once you procure, you have to store it. And in India, what is happening? Cold chain is mainly limited to potato. See, when you go to village and you see where is the cold chain, there's only cold stores. Now gradually they are rising. See, you need cold chains. This is an important fact. India and one Scandinavian country, I think Norway, just please check. But anyway, it is not important. What is important? India produces more roses, mainly in Jammu, Kashmir and other states, than that country. But in the total export, in the share of the export, Norway has a very, very high share. Can you see? Because India is not projecting itself as a marketer. Okay, you have to rise in the high value chain, right? So, okay. Similarly, processing of agriculture products is limited. In India, what is happening? Processing is mainly rice processing. When you will read Santa Goma committee report, you will see it is mainly limited to rice mills are the main processing. Okay, food. See, okay, you can write a statement. This statement like this will come naturally to you when you practice a lot. Food processing industry is a sunrise industry, so it should rise farmers as well. Okay, see, when you say that industry is a sunrise industry, then for what, to whom it is going to rise? Mainly farmers. Okay, the food processing in that value chain, maximum due should go to the farmer. Okay, and India has also introduced first agri export policy. And what is main aim? If I'm not mistaken, till 2022-23, they wanted to have a export of $60 billion, and then they raised it to $100 billion export of agri produce. Okay, and this will not happen. How it will happen? Let's say somebody is going to export rice, wheat, and potato. You're going to get $100 billion? Never. You can get only when you export a high value products. Okay, export cakes and pastries. Okay, that will see guar and all those exporting guar basmati rice. No. $100 billion is not going to. How much branding and packaging you are going to do in the basmati rice? You can sell it. Okay, you understand what I'm trying to say. Branding and packaging as an influencer. See, this kind of packaging as an influencer. If you've read some report, it will come naturally. Okay, so process will connect it there. Okay, this phrase, it comes naturally when you have done it in. Have not been exploited fully. Okay, now geographical indicators. So what is the idea of it is a branding for local people. Let's say you say that some laddu, but laddu is from which area? So that area will get benefited rather than some company procuring, right? So again, see, this is intentionally it's a good move, but GI cannot also when it comes to the market. Again, the role of the company is very, very important. That salesman is salesman. There was a marketing guru, Peter Decker. He said the role of the marketing is to make selling superfluous. Right? Selling is okay. You call, the kind of salesman, right? But you don't do the marketing. इस तरह का marketing करो कि अपना भी sell हो जाए. The positioning of he also mentioned the positioning of the product is done in the mind of customer. Let's say this stylus is there. Okay, I say it is 100 rupees. So somebody may say, okay, fine, 100 rupees. If I say, you buy it, okay, I will see value, it's 100 rupees. When you say, but it was owned by somebody, right? Maybe, let's say, some novel orator, owned it, okay? Then it's at a very different value, okay? Then, okay, last point, retail segment in India is largely unorganized. You understand why? Because you see the shops everywhere. And it is a big employment source. It is not entrepreneurship. See, it is forced employment. Okay, so again, see, unorganized retail is also a source of employment. Somebody says, okay, now from unorganized, we will make it organized through, let's say, supermarkets and all those things. That is fine. That might cut the intermediaries, but the value, the profit which the supermarkets have gained from intermediaries, are they going to pass it to farmers? That is a question. So that's why when you say that make the unorganized retail segment organized, the question should again the same. They will not always share their due profit with the farmer. Need is to balance regulation and facilitation to develop organized retailing. Okay. The way forward is fine. The way forward is to adhere to the aims of nation farmer policy and bringing agriculture marketing in the concurrent list. Right? It's in the state list, but when you bring in the concurrent list and with the, then both states and, union can play a role. And you see, again, you say, promote contract farming. See, contract farming itself it is to promote contract farming with due diligence. Okay, and then you have to develop pro-farmer marketing space. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. We will keep on sharing such lectures with you. And please visit our Takkar series schedule. Thank you very much.